Hello, Happy and Fit. Happy Tuesday. Welcome to our best practice call. It's just where we collaborate, share ideas, share best practices. It's just people like you and me, moms, everyday people, teachers, nurses, healthcare professionals, homeschooling parents now, right? All the things. We're just people who have either had a transformation of weight loss or mindset, which is probably most of us. There are some of us on here who had major objections before started and overcame them. Some of us just got started without even thinking thrice about it. A lot of us have realized how powerful the community is, and that I heard on a call today, I thought this was really, really good, is that we're the only business that provides, or MLM that provides a service. Everyone else provides a product. And I heard that and I just thought that is so cool. Doctors recommend exercise, right? Isn't that for like move your body, fuel it better? You heard Lauren Lundberg say that loneliness is worse than smoking cigarettes. We legitimately provide a service of community, uplifting people. I've been talking to some women today that are very open-minded on our team saying, hey, I did my workout, but I'm just struggling. I'm like, hey, are you open to listening to some personal development? You're newer to our crew. You didn't just join for fitness, and I'm going to show you why. Right? Would you listen to this? I think this will help you. I recommended the Confidence podcast by Trish Blackwell. That is my go-to in general for new coaches on our team. I just feel like what she has to say is so relatable and encouraging. And so we provide a service. We provide a team. Like this atmosphere is going to be game changing for people. And I think there is so much around the corner for all of us. So much around the corner, and it's going to be an absolute blast. If you have not signed up for a team challenge, it'd be so great of you to do that. I think it's just going to be a fun collaboration. We have our team store. Thanks to Morgan Brill for setting that up. We have, I think, 7 days left to order, 6 or 7 days left, and you can get your team swag. We have some really fun announcements coming up in the next few weeks, but I'm going to turn it over. So Morgan got started on her journey a few years ago, and she's been on this. And what's so cool and beautiful about this is that you just never know who's going to fall in love with this. You just never know. And you just have got to keep showing up and believing for yourself more than anything. Like you've got to be a believer in what these beautiful products can do. You've got to be a believer in what the team can provide. You've got to be a believer in working on yourself and having personal development into your daily life. Like that starts with you. You're the catalyst. And then as you're going on your journey, I coached some people today on saying, listen, you're not inviting to a challenge pack. You're not inviting to Shakeology. You're not inviting to a product like most businesses. You're inviting to a party. You're inviting to an experience. So when you call a friend and say, hey, let's go do this for the weekend, are you starting with the cost and the directions on how to get there? No, you're starting with, this is what's going to happen. Let's go on a girls' weekend. I think it's just time to get away. I just want to be kid free. I want to laugh. I want to dance. I want to do all these things. Are you in? They're like, I'm in. Awesome. Let me share more details with you. When you're inviting to this experience, you're inviting to what's happening in your life. You're inviting to, right? You're inviting to feeling better. You're inviting to thinking better. You're inviting to not doing it alone. You're inviting to not quitting. You're inviting to having more confidence and just feeling better in your skin. You're inviting to just this feeling that you're having in this community that you're with, and then providing the details after, right? And that's what makes this so incredibly different. So anyway, Morgan did that. She believed in her journey and she built that. She built her confidence along the way, and she decided to build her own story in this. And then along the way, she continued to share and show what this could do for other people. And so her and her team just became a 2-star team, which is really, really powerful to produce leadership, right, with where you are and where you're planted. And what's even cooler about that is they're continuing to go. And it's just super fun. We get to hear from Danielle, we get to hear from Anya, and we get to hear from Morgan. It'll be really fun to ask them some questions later. So ladies, I'm going to give it to you and mute.
So good. I'm going to kick it off. I think there is just absolutely nothing more rewarding as a leader too. I feel like I just want to zoom through my part because I'm so excited to have my leaders lead, and for you to hear their voices and their hearts and just what's been successful in their business, because they both have extremely rocking businesses and huge hearts and are just wonderful women. And I just can't wait. So for those of you, I think I know most of you, but for those of you that are newer, my name's Morgan. And I've been a coach on Happy and Fit for, it will be 5 years in August. That's crazy. I joined in 2015, 5 years. I almost said 4 because it doesn't feel like it's been that long. Each year I committed to being here another year, and it's only gotten better year by year by year. So commit to being here a year from now. It just keeps getting better when you keep working the process. But I originally joined because I felt like I needed to lose weight. I said no to Julianne. She tells the story over and over again. I was the obnoxious person that said no 20 times. I ghosted her. I ignored her. There was a 10% discount at the time for people that did like bod and other things. And I told her at one point I was cool with the 10% discount, not the 25%. So stubborn. Don't give up on people. If you know that this is going to work for them and you see this in their life, just freaking go for it and continue to follow up with them. Even if they ghost you, they still hear what you have to say. Because one night when they're a little buzzed on wine and they gain 10 pounds on their honeymoon because they were super underweight, they're going to say yes to you and buy a challenge pack. And then you're going to get started. And then 5 years later, you're going to be here with this incredible group of women. And that is a true story. That is a true story. So when I joined this team, I didn't realize that I needed to lose mental weight first. That's my story. I call myself the recovering perfectionist. But until I lost the mental weight, I didn't understand what physical state my body was in. I was deprived. I was tired. I was obsessed with counting calories. I was the person that on my challenge, or not my challenge tracker, that's a good app. MyFitnessPal, when you tracked your calories and you had negative for the day and you got that red, like that's what I chased when I first decided to get healthy after college. I started a new job after college. I stopped playing collegiate sports. I gained a bunch of weight. I realized I gained the weight and I lost it in a super unhealthy way. I chased 120 pounds on the scale. And for those of you that have seen me in person, I'm like 5'9", 5'10". And that is not, 120 pounds is not that weight for that person. And at one point I hit it. And that was actually my wake up call day, was that day I hit it. I gained 10 pounds on my honeymoon. It needed to change. So I was attracted to the positivity and the team and the community. And I was like the free group fanatic. I did every free group of Julianne's, every free group, right up until I joined with the challenge pack. And then I got the real deal. And that's when things changed for me. And then, 5 years later, here I am. Like, it just, that belief builds over time. And I have always been someone that has been logical and someone that's been safe and someone that's needed to play it at my own pace. And I'm going to talk about that a little bit. But when I joined Beachbody, I would have not been able to get pregnant. I was not getting periods for like 6 months at a time. I was underweight. I was malnourished. I was unhappy. I wouldn't have physically coped with the changes of pregnancy. And after 2 years of doing Beachbody, getting married, loving life, getting to be the healthiest version of myself, Sean and I had no problems. The month we came off of birth control, we got pregnant. The month we came off birth control with second baby, we got pregnant. And I'm so blessed that that's my story. But the reason that that story is so powerful is because if I would have looked at you 5 years ago and said, I'm trying to get pregnant, I wouldn't have been able to. My body wasn't even in a state where it was creating its own cycles. And for me, that's a really powerful story to share too. And we're so grateful. So 17 weeks with baby number 2, working out every day. Shakeology is my prenatal. I will sing that home. Olivia was so healthy. My first pregnancy was so healthy, and I wouldn't do it any other way. I use all of Beachbody products. Pregnant, if you have any questions, I'm a huge proponent for it. If you have people that have questions, send them my direction. I even made some videos last pregnancy about Shakeology and pregnancy and the performance line in pregnancy and exercise, so I can send those to you. But that's my story and where I'm at. And my team, after almost 5 years in the business, advanced to 2-star. And that takes every single one of my coaches and beauty inspired for that to happen. My diamond leaders are Danielle and Anya, but I'm just super proud of my team being so engaged and so present and so forward in their self-care, that we could do that together. And I want to talk to you guys a little bit about creating that type of culture within your coaches. And you guys might not have a team yet, but that's the best place to learn these things, because when you're building your team from nothing, you're going to build it in the correct culture. And I had to learn the hard way sometimes, and that's how it is when you're leading. So I'm going to talk a little about leadership, and then Anya and Dani are going to talk a little bit more about like day-to-day things they've been through and how they've overcome. So one thing that Julianne has always like recognized in me, and I didn't realize it was my word, but I've really like lived into it, is loyalty. So I want to talk a little bit about loyalty and creating that culture within your team. You have to be loyal yourself first to your goals and this process before you can create loyalty with the people that you ask to do this with you, right? So being loyal is like being consistent. Being loyal is being committed. Being loyal is being that constant. And things I have done to create that culture within my team is I really get to know who my coaches are and what they stand for. My team isn't just a challenge pack to me. My challengers aren't just a challenge pack to me. They're people, not points. And I've always treated inviting that way, is that I don't want you to sign up if I have to convince you, because I'm not in the business of convincing. I want a team of people who are ready to be here. And I've created a foundation of the culture. If I don't hit Success Club in a month because of that, that's okay, because I want the right people in my corner, and I have the right people in my corner. And I've had to shed people to get the right people in my corner. Other things I do to create this culture too is, I send texts when I know life events are happening. I send hello texts just randomly, birthdays for sure, send note cards, especially to my new challengers. Anyone that signs up to me, even if it's with like a 14-day free bod, I send them at least a note card in the mail. Like, hey, I'm thinking of you. I believe in your goals so hard. Like, let me know if you have questions. Because who gets happy mail these days? Like, not a lot of people. And it's what is it? Cost of a stamp now? I don't even know. I just buy a book, but like 50 cents or 55 cents or whatever it is to just say hi to someone and make their day, right? So create that culture even from the point when they're a challenger and they're not even ready for the challenge pack yet. Seek to help them with something instead of help them with something that helps you achieve points, right? I do fun prizes, and I really make it clear within my team that I stand for life. I don't stand for brand. And that's kind of what Julianne was leading with, is like, we stand to do this together. We stand for this community. We stand for positivity. We stand for mindset growth. Like, we stand for the lifestyle. I don't barf the words Shakeology, energize, bod. Like, those are the tools. And in fact, I use the word tools a lot. I don't use like the actual products until we've had a conversation about goals, until we've had a conversation what they want to get out of this, because I want to know what I'm suggesting matters to them. And that's creating loyalty. If you lead with the words challenge pack, people don't even know what that means. That you know what that means. But to them, that makes it seem like you're trying to give them some type of marketing presentation. Like, these are the tools I use. So I really like that language, and that's helped build trust. And just, don't forget that recognition is a vital behavior, right? Like, and I think our team the last month has just kind of blown up with this type of recognition, which I've noticed a shift, is like, we're celebrating finishing programs now. Like, and we did before, but I just noticed that, like, every day I feel like I see someone finishing a new program. And that's so exciting, because so many people start and they don't finish, and that should be celebrated. Like, even if it's 7 days and it's your first 7 days of doing clean week, like, heck yeah, celebrate those small wins. That's another practice I use a lot with creating loyalty within my organization too, is, there is no paycheck too small. It's more money than you had yesterday. There is no exercise that should be minimized, because even if you're doing Tai Chi, Cheng, whatever, I've never done that program, like, you're still moving your body and honoring your body in a way that should be celebrated. So celebrating those small wins really creates that culture. And then two, my next point I want to make is that throughout my business and throughout leadership, I've grown to kind of figure this out, but I compare and contrast a lot, slow growth versus fast growth, because I've seen businesses be successful both ways. So just because it took me 5 years to go 2-star doesn't mean you couldn't do it in 3 months, right? Like, look, for example, at my diamonds, Dani and Anya. It took me 6 months at least. I forget how long it took me to go diamond, right? Like, it took me a long time to go diamond, it felt like. And then I stayed there for 3 years, and I'm going to talk about that. And then I went to 2-star. So there was a process in between there. But what I really want you to grasp from that is that there is no set pace in this. There's only your pace in this. And if you get caught comparing yourself to someone else's pace, you're not putting your head down and getting your work done that's going to advance your business forward. And I learned that so hard because I've partnered and collaborated and been with a lot of coaches that have went places much faster than me. And if I would have let that get to me, I wouldn't be at a position where I've learned enough to feel like I can come to you and tell that. Like, are you the coach that gets mad or jealous when someone else goes diamond or they figure it out quickly and you haven't yet? Because I'll be honest, I was at first. My friends were doing it and I couldn't crack the code. I couldn't figure it out, but I had to figure it out for myself. And I had to go at my own pace. There's no pace. There's only your pace. And make sure you're honoring that pace. Comparison is the thief of joy, and it will take the joy right out of this business. It needs to be meaningful to your values. What you do needs to be meaningful to your values. Otherwise, you're building your house on sand, not a rock. Right? Okay. And kind of going with that, another point that I wanted to make was with my team, I had to find my voice before my team grew. When I was a diamond coach, I actually had a different team that I collaborated with. And until I moved my people into their own space where they heard me, where I wasn't being outspoken by other leaders, and not because they were doing things wrong, but because I wasn't speaking up and I felt I made myself smaller because there were bigger voices around me, my people didn't see me leading. And when your people don't see you leading, they don't necessarily know what direction to follow because they joined you for a reason. They didn't join someone else for a reason. And they need to hear you talk. They need to hear you, see you model. They need to feel your example and your presence. And that's really when you create that loyalty, is when you change, your team will change with you because they're like you. And when you make a move that's strategic, they're going to see that. And it's tough and it's tension and it's wonderful all at the same time because we don't grow unless we put ourselves under tension. And our muscles don't grow unless we tear them down and build them back up, right? So this last summer was one of those summers for me. But that's when things changed for my business, was when I honored my voice and my own leadership style. Okay. So I just have a couple other tips, and I don't want to take up too much more time because I want to make sure there's time for questions and for Anya and Dani to go. But a couple things. One other thing that had to do with kind of slow growth and fast growth is, this is an important thing, is what you focus on manifests. So if you're taking notes, make sure you're writing down what you focus on manifests. And the reason that this is so important for you to understand this part of my journey is when I first started, so I am on the Enneagram a 2 wing 3, and 2s love to be built up and love recognition and love to be like, just love to be built up. I don't need to keep going about that. You know what 2s are. And when I first started, more than any other rank goal, more than any other team goal, more than any goal, I wanted to hit Success Club because that's what Beachbody told me successful coaches do, is hit Success Club. So I focused so hard on that goal that I lost some of the team aspect of it. And don't forget, you can invite to the team and still hit Success Club. Like, I don't know why it took me so long to figure that out, but side note, asterisk, you can invite to the team and still hit Success Club, okay? The team is the way. But I focused so hard on that I took up residence at Diamond rank because that was easy for me to maintain. And I hit Success Club All-Star Legend, which means I hit Success Club 5 or more for 24 months. But I was focusing on Success Club, and that wasn't creating consistent choices and freedoms and things, because hitting Success Club is up to you. And it's important. So don't think I'm diminishing Success Club. It's important. But hitting Success Club is up to you. But you're going to see your paychecks, the thing that you want to create those freedoms and choices, go up and down. Because you might have 3 challenge packs that you connect with people in 1 week, and then you don't connect anyone with anything the rest of the month. So there were some paychecks I was getting, $10 because some 3-month bod renewed. And then there were some paychecks that was like $200 or $300 because they were big weeks. And that wasn't consistent for me. And it also wasn't showing my coaches how to invite to the team. It was showing my coaches how to hit Success Club. And when you want stability and you want to enjoy growth and you want to enjoy mentorship and you want to see your business go diamond, star diamond, beyond, you need to focus on that team aspect. So once I fixated myself on a team, guess what I got? The team I've wanted, the team that follows me, the thing that I had to break down to build up to create that culture and other leaders that I'm so proud of what they have to share. So make sure if you want something, that you're fixating on the right piece of this business for the goals that you have. And for me, I had to fixate on the team for it finally to click. I had to fixate on income, and money is not bad. I had to fixate on income to understand the logistics of what it would take to consistently make $200 to $500 a week. My goal in this is $500 a week. I'm not there yet, but I will get there. Slowly, you can see that the consistency in my paychecks is growing. And the really cool thing with that is that, you know what that's going to create for me? That's going to create the choice that if with baby number 2, I want to go back to work more part-time, I can do that because of this. And I'm going to have that option because of this. I'm not saying I'm going to. I love my profession. I will always be a nurse. But I was thinking about that in the car this morning, and what I wanted to talk about with you guys as far as income is that when you fixate on the team, you create such stability. And when you hit 2-star and you get yourself in that bonus program and like things compound over time and you create that team that's unwavering, that's loyal, that's there, that's when you get the freedom of those choices. And that's what I fight for every day. And I tell myself every day that every day I don't show up is one day further I won't be able to go part-time. Every day I don't show up is one day further from that massive goal that I have for myself. So that's what keeps me showing up, and that's what keeps me there with my team. And then a couple other teams, a couple other points. Make sure in your conversations, you're seeking understanding. You're not making a judgment for someone. So when I'm building relationships with people, I ask more questions and I'm interested in them and I'm seeking understanding about why they responded or reacted away before I'm making a judgment if they're going to join me or not. Because if someone just says no, you don't know why they've said no, right? But if they say no and you stop talking to them, how are you going to know that this is ever going to help them? So seek understanding instead of judgment. And then decide to be part of the team. Don't just watch the team. That's another huge thing that I talk about in my team. And since we've started creating that culture, my coaches are on calls. My coaches, they're on everything. And it's so awesome. I love to see them plugged in. But you need to plug into the team. And then your conversations take on the tone of your mindset. This is the last thing that I want to say, is that especially with pregnancy in the first trimester and things, it's like you are so up and down with hormones and feeling well and being consistent and whatever. So before you go into having conversations, like especially before I go into inviting to the team, or I even go into like writing a post for the team or talking in my stories or anytime I'm putting myself out there, I do a little check-in with myself and I say, what am I emotionally feeling right now? And can I turn that vulnerable thing that I'm feeling right now into something inspirational? Or am I not in that mindset and I need to do some personal development first? Because often I find that when you lead with emotion, it's really easy for it to go negative, and then you never to spin some inspiration on it or spin support on it or spin determination on it or spin anything that people would see that this is a solution for them. So when you're having conversations and you go into a conversation already emotional, already frustrated, already tired, or assuming that person is going to say no, that's the tone that your post and conversation is going to take on, whether you realize it or not. So I know Dani and Anya are going to talk about this a little bit, but personal development is so, so important. And the only time I get frustrated in my conversations is if I'm having them and I'm not emotionally sound and being logical about it. I need to go back a different time, even if it's 12 hours later after I've slept, I need to go back a different time and respond to that person, or my conversation isn't going to be the same. And the other time I get frustrated is if I haven't been doing the inviting and I have no one else in my pipeline and someone says no. So those are the two reasons I get frustrated in my conversations, is I'm not emotionally in a place to have the conversations yet, or I've been putting all my fruit in that basket and all of a sudden the basket says no. And then I feel like I don't have anything left. That's when I get frustrated with someone saying no. And you never want to be in that place in conversations. You don't want to have emotional conversations. You want to have convicted conversations. You want to have certain conversations. You want to have precise conversations. Because if you go into conversations uncertain, that's what that person's going to feel and they're not going to join you. So make sure you keep yourself in the correct mindset where you're having those conversations. Okay, so those are my few things. We didn't talk about if Dani or Anya was going to go next. Which one of you guys wants to go next? Anya's going to go? You're pointing at her. Cool. Okay, take it away, Anya. I'm so proud of you.
Hi guys, so my name is Anya for those of you who don't know me, and so I am a new mom to Hudson. He is actually 5 months old today, which is totally crazy. I am a wife and I am a dog mom, and I am actually able to stay home full time with Hudson. I joined coaching 2.5 years ago. Originally, I just wanted to sign up for the discount. I signed up as a coach right away, but I just wanted a discount on products. I was getting ready for my wedding, and I was totally the person that bought my dress too small. And so I had no choice but to really commit, and I just kind of dove on in and was ready to start my health and wellness journey. And the more that I worked out and watched the team and everything, I didn't realize how important the personal development part was to this whole journey. And I'll never forget the first book I read, and it was You Are a Badass. And my soul was lit on fire, and I knew that there was just so much more. So I just kept diving into personal development. And that was really truly the shift that I had to make, which is really truly what got me going in this journey. So I dabbled in coaching for about 2 years. I would be really present in the team, showing up, and then I would kind of disappear a little bit, and then I would show up, and then I would disappear, and I would pull away when things got hard. Or life just got busy, and I decided that I needed to not do that anymore, because the more that I leaned into the team, the better that things were. I was able to work through things better. I was able to build relationships with people, and the team is truly where it's at. The coaches get best results physically. The friendships are unbeatable. The relationships, it's just, the team is ultimately where everyone should be. That's the best option. And so when I had Hudson, I looked at my husband. We were still in the hospital, and I said, I am not going back to work. There's no way. I'm not going back to work. And he said, okay, that's fine. I know you have this opportunity. but we still need your help financially. Totally get it. And I said, perfect. I can do this. I'm going to do this. And I did it. So I texted Morgan in January, or no, it was like December. And I said, Morgan, I'm going diamond and I'm going to do it before March 1st. She's like, okay, let's do it. And that is what my sights were on. And I leaned into this team harder than ever. I reached out to coaches that I looked up to. I connected with people, and I could not imagine having it be any other way now. Sorry, I'm looking at my notes here. I just feel like my brain's like, what?
You're doing so well. Deep breath.
But when I was inviting, like I kind of just said, the team is truly where it's at. So I didn't really invite to challenges or different things that were going on weekly. I just strictly invited to the team because I believe so much in the team. And so when I would invite, I would just have fun with it and tell them how amazing the community is and the friendships. And lately too, I've seen other coaches do it as well. And it has been so amazing that when you have a new coach join, connect them with people that are in that same season. So I had a coach join and she was postpartum. So I was like, hey, meet my friends, Morgan or Danielle or Stephanie or whoever it might be that are in those seasons. And so they have someone that they can talk to right away, so they don't feel like they're just being thrown into this pool of a ton of people that's just a little overwhelming at first. With the team too, you have the ultimate accountability. And so that was super important for me because when you're showing up and you have other people that are relying on you to show up, you're going to show up that much harder. And they see that and they feed off of that. And you just create momentum through that, which is so important. Consistency really, truly is key. People notice if you're still showing up or if you're not working out. They can tell through your posts if you're like Morgan was saying, if you're in a good mood, your energy can come off. I'll never forget when I was working at Alto Sham, my manager always told me, she said, people can tell if you're smiling over the phone. It's the same thing with posts. People can tell your energy through your posts. When I invite to, I keep my invites short and sweet. I keep it to the point, but of course you want to build those connections first. So I'm sure some of you know, some of you may not know, but I got kicked off Facebook, not once, but twice. My Facebook was straight up deleted. Like I had to create a new Facebook after 3 weeks. I tried to even like beat the system and create one for Hudson. They did the whole face recognition thing and it didn't work. So I had to wait 3 weeks for my Facebook to have a Facebook again. And I forgot where I was going with that. Oh my gosh.
You were just going to talk about overcoming that and what you did because you were overdoing the behaviors because you were anxious, and you wanted to talk about the mindset related to that.
Yes. And okay, so like Morgan was saying too, it's always about growing in small and steady, not just overdoing it. And I was definitely overdoing it, hence why my Facebook got deleted, because I was probably adding over like 300 people a day and messaging probably 150 people a day. But some really good connections did come out of that, because I would go through and I would just try to start a conversation like, hey, how's your day going? Just true, genuine conversations before just saying like, hey, do you want to join me in this? It's all about learning about those people, because as they watch our social media stories, like you have to get the you have to want to get to know them as well. But also too, working through having my Facebook taken away was definitely really hard. I mean, I kind of had all my eggs in one basket on Facebook. Facebook was totally my comfort. And so I had to make the shift to Instagram, which I was totally okay with. I wanted to learn Instagram, but I didn't want to learn it in that way per se. And so it was really hard for me to, one, come off the whole idea that my Facebook was just straight up deleted, and still overcome that and meet the goals that I had set for me that month. And I was able to do that. I was able to still hit Success Club. I was still able to contribute to going to Star for Morgan. Like, it was, you just have to overcome those things because stuff is going to happen. Literally in the past week and a half, I had 3 coaches quit. Not 1, not 2, 3. People are going to quit and stuff's going to come up, things are going to happen, and you just have to be prepared for it and you have to work through it. That's kind of all I have.
And then do you want to share your Canva? So Anya has the very most beautiful way of inviting. And I think that that's one thing that you guys always find beneficial is like, tell me your inviting style, because I want a takeaway that I can implement immediately. And she's going to be able to share it in Coach Collab. So I want her to share her screen and then kind of walk through the process of her invite. Because since she has been like overdoing the behaviors, overcoming Facebook being taken away, like I can totally relate with Facebook being the comfort. That's my very first place I started my business. And it, like, I just feel connected with people on there. I'm still on Instagram. I'm still super present. I'm still growing it. But if that was taken away from me, I can only imagine the void I would feel in my business too. Especially because that's like where all of our team pages are. And that is where, like, can you imagine being plucked from that? And then being like, oh crap, I thought I was doing all the right things. And now I'm learning that I'm not doing all the right things. And now I'm doing too many things. And also putting the pressure on yourself of being a stay-at-home mom and not having business hours. So I think one really important thing she set for herself now is intentional business hours. And then now, instead of just mass inviting, she knows, like, even through her Facebook being taken away, she hit Success Club and she maintained Diamond and she didn't even get close to dropping for a second. Because she learned how to be intentional through that. And she also learned the importance of personal development through that. So what doesn't kill you makes you stronger, right, Anya? Like, you are like completely cool, calm, and collected, like in not every moment, but your mindset has just shifted to where it's more rock solid, right? So go ahead and share your inviting. Her Canva is beautiful. It like blows me away every time.
I'm just going to share my screen quick. So like I kind of said before too, I keep my invites super simple. Like, if they watch my stories, hey, thank you so much for watching my stories. I don't know if you saw, but I'd really love for you to join my community. Can I send you more info? If they say yes, then I ask them if they've heard of Beachbody before. If they have, awesome. Okay, what have you tried? What do you know? If they say no, I also have learned to use the verbiage of, oh my gosh, that's awesome. I partner with this company that gives me the tools, but the community is truly where it's at, and these are the reasons why. And based on those conversations, if they say yes, go ahead, send me more information. I just send them the link. I didn't know that you could do this. Sorry, I'm just gonna move this here. If you do share, you can actually choose which link that you want, and you can just do share link to view, and you can just send them this link instead of sending them a PDF or all the pictures individually, which doesn't make it as messy, and you don't have to take the conversation to a different place if you don't necessarily want to. So this is kind of what it looks like. So I have just a little blurb here about Meet Your Coach. It just tells a little bit about me, why I started coaching, how I started my journey. And then my team page is called Fiercely Fit Nation. So it's just a little blurb about that because a lot of people don't really know what a virtual wellness community is. I explain what Beachbody on Demand is, what is Shakeology, and then the different options that they can choose to join us. So I broke it down as fitness, and option 1 is just going to be the Beachbody on Demand with Shakeology, and then I also always tell them too that they can do the performance products as well. And then option 2, I do actually the 80-day obsession one, just because you get the bands and the sliders, which you can really truly apply to any workout that you're doing, legs or whatever it might be. And then you also get the portion fix containers, because I am like a die-hard portion fix person. I love it. So I have that as an option. Next is nutrition, which is of course going to be the ultimate portion fix and 2B mindset. And then I have one of a combination of both ultimate portion fix, 2B mindset with the year subscriptions of BOD. And then of course, all the lovely add-ons, hydrate, energize, recover, all that good stuff. And then last but not least, how do I join? So of course, I'll always talk them through to what different options are as well. If they're unsure of which one that they're thinking of doing. And then I have different ways to contact me as well. Usually and it's of course all on your preference. But if I'm really connecting with someone, I give them my phone number too, just so that they know I'm a real person. I'm truly invested in them. I want to help them get results. I want to help them in this journey. So it's all about your comfort level. But a lot of times I give people my phone number, and honestly, we text all the time and we have a lot of fun. So
This is so good. I have a question. Can you write your invite is so good, because mine's like, oh, because I do the challenges in the team page, but you just said the community, and what was the part? So thanks for watching my stories. I don't know if you saw, what was that next part?
So I say, thank you so much for watching my stories. I don't know if you saw, but I'm a part of a community of the most amazing women.
Would it be okay to send you more information?
Yeah.
I'm a part of an incredible community of women.
And I say too, like, we focus on health and wellness while uplifting one another and cheering each other on. Can I send you more info?
Okay, you need to type that in the comments once Danielle goes, because that is inviting to the team, which is what we're trying to teach everyone to do. That's so good.
Yeah. And like, if it's off of a post, a story, or if I'm literally just cold inviting too, based off of my followers, I'll do the A to Z method on Instagram. I literally have that be like my chunk of the invite, but depending upon where I'm inviting off of, I just change that first part.
Isn't that so good? And that is what will create a consistent business for you, is knowing the team is the way and having the inviting process that only funnels them that direction. And when
you're not afraid, you're just doing it. It's like, join me or not, but I don't want to go back to work. Like, that's what you're weighing someone's no against, so you could care less. And not like, I mean, it still can sting and whatever, but you're willing to, like, there's so many coaches on here who need to hear that, is that you get no's and ghosted all the time, but at the comparison of you going back to work, it doesn't matter. With Morgan, at the comparison of being able to choose part-time, she's willing to take the no, the fear. She's willing to change her mindset, enter her invite. She's willing to not play smaller and be like, let's do the free trials all the time. She's willing to invite because of what it's at the cost of. And that's the difference. Like, what you've got to know that why, because that why, every one of us has second guessed ourselves. We've felt uncertain. We've been afraid. We've been, what are they going to say? We're afraid, like, and then one, we're always surprised. Usually I'm surprised, but two, we've all felt it, but we haven't weighted against something. And for me, it was like quitting my job. And then now, like, doing what we're doing, I'm like, there's no other option. So good. So good. And put that invite in the comments.
All right, Dani.
Can I say just one last thing?
Yeah.
When you truly believe and you go all in, and I'm not saying like all in, like quit your job, all in. I'm just saying when you believe in this all in, the needle in your business will move. The energy will just go everywhere. You just have to believe in it. You have to believe in it. You have to keep going when it gets hard. You cannot give up. This does work. Success leaves tips and tricks. Just believe in this and do not give up, guys.
So going off of what she just said, I'm going to share my screen for a second because I have a quote I want to start with. It was actually my devotion yesterday, which, mind you, I sent this to Morgan and Anya yesterday. Actually more from Morgan, because she was talking about how she's manifesting, or wanted to talk about manifesting her vision. And they both came back at me and said, no, this is you right now. So here's my quote. Rather than me repeating it 3 times, I figured you guys could screenshot it or snap a picture of it. But it doesn't matter what your reality looks like at the moment, because where you desire to be is the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth. If you fixate your mind on this truth, believe that it's real and already here, and take decisive action, it will manifest itself. So perfect timing, Anya, to add that little snippet. So for those of you that don't know me, I am Danielle. I'm a veteran wife to Jordan, mom to my 1-year-old son Maverick, who lights my soul on fire, mom to 2 angel babies and 2 black labs. I work full-time as an ER nurse, and in January of 2019, I became a wellness coach. Prior to that, I had been using BOD for 2 years, was super duper inconsistent. I started every single program. I could probably tell you 15 of them that I tried, never finished them. I am now finishing my 8th program this week with 10 rounds, which it wasn't until I became a coach that I actually finished a program. I found myself at 2 months postpartum with Maverick, feeling lost, feeling not sure where to go from here. I had been on maternity leave. Before that, work had been my life. I spent 50 to 60 hours there, 30 to 40 minutes in the car there and back. So that was my life. And I remember thinking, what is this it? Like, I don't want to do this anymore. But I also was not happy with the body I was in. So being 2 months postpartum, didn't lose the baby weight like everyone said I would. I'd gained 40 pounds. I think I'd lost like 10-ish. But I knew that Beachbody, I'd seen my mentors, I'd seen all this, it worked for them. So I decided I'm going to go all in, but I'm going to go all in as a discount coach because I need to save the money. I've been following all these coaches on Instagram for years, and one of them said, why not you? That weekend, I messaged Morgan and said, I'm all in. And my other coach, Chelsea, who we were kind of going into it together. And never thought that I could actually like make an income, but I was like, if I'm going to do this, I'm going to go all in on social media. Didn't realize how many friends and family were ready to do this with me. So after 2 months, I think it was, of being a coach, I realized that I had the potential to make enough money to quit my part-time job and only work my 36 hours a week. So that's what I did. Was living the high life, thought it was great. I even hit Success Starter, which at the time was hit Success Club for the first 3 months. And I was like, this is great. This is easy. I can coast. Not so much. My honeymoon phase hit me in May, and I had a really hard time. I was weaning off the pump and just struggling mentally a lot. But I needed that month to realize that this team that I was leaning into was way more important than the people that were telling me no. Like, this was bringing me more joy. So in June, I was listening to a call where a coach said, Diamond is a decision. And I realized after looking in my back office and talking with Morgan, we're going Diamond. So I had the coaches I needed. I leaned into some coaches that wanted to run this business. I made Jordan Diamond, and we did it in a week. I was super pumped, but I'll tell you, hitting that goal wasn't the fun part. The fun part was doing it with the team. Like, that filled my cup way more than having Diamond in my back office. So, sorry, I'm going to try and go quick because I realize the time. Went to Summit, met some of the most amazing people I've ever met in my life. Love them all to death. Changed, had the best month I've had all in my whole career, coaching career in July and August. Was super pumped. September came and I wavered a little bit. I was struggling with feeling joy being at work, but also I found this joy in the fact that I loved coaching. I loved having this team that was just lighting up. They were bringing me so much joy and so much confidence. I never thought I could be a leader. I led an hour call on Happy&Fit, which never in my life I thought I would do. And then also around that same time was qualification for the Diamond Retreat for Team Rockstar Fit. I qualified. I was pumped, but I did not have the money for it. I had been trying to pay some bills off, and this and that. Being on maternity leave left us not where I wanted to be. Julianne kept talking about abundance. I prayed over it. I thought over it. I second guessed it. I didn't even bring it up to my husband because I knew he would tell me to go, but I had to figure it out. I had to figure out on my own how I was gonna do this, how I was gonna make it work. So a little backstory. Jordan and I have a vacation package, which is like a timeshare. A company offered me money to buy it out from under us, way more than what we paid for. And I was like, okay, God, this gotta be my sign. This has gotta be it. I'm gonna buy this ticket. So the next day I told Jordan, and that night I bought my ticket. I went to the Diamond Retreat and made even deeper connections with this team than I ever thought that I would. It completely changed my life. It completely changed my business. And I was living higher than, I don't know, it was the best feeling in the world, only to come crashing down 6 weeks later. That business opportunity that was offered to me was a scam. And 2 weeks before Christmas, I found myself $40,000 in debt and not sure where to turn. But I'll tell you, the one place that I knew to turn was this team. This team was my constant. My family was my constant, and God. I knew that He was trying to show me that there was a reason for all of this. I have on my foot tattooed, everything happens for a reason, and I had to know this was my reason. I knew that coaching was going to get me out of this one way or another. In the meantime, though, I had to pick up some extra shifts at work to get, by in the meantime. Sorry. But so I ended up I made a deal with myself. I was only going to pick up 8 hours for the next 4 weeks each week. I'm going to tell you that that decision made me realize I will never pick up any more overtime. I will not put my family through that. I will not put my mindset through that. I will not put my body through that. It was not worth trying to figure everything out. But I will tell you that January was when I realized this business, I had to hunker down. I finally started truly tracking. I had been going back between inviting some days, not inviting any. Even if you send out one invite a day, that's moving the needle, and that's all that matters. Showing up every single day, no matter what you're doing, whether you're not getting your workout in, whether you're getting just your water in, showing people that you are still there and you're not giving up through your hard is what matters. And you would think that this would be the end of my hard story, but it's not. Fast forward to February, and one of my best friends lost her daughter very unexpectedly. And this team showed me that no matter what happens, they will be there. We raised over $2,000, endless prayers, endless workouts for Haley. And I can never, ever leave this team because of the fact that I'll never be able to repay what you guys did for Chelsea and Mark. And I'm so grateful for that. And then fast forward to COVID. Working in the ER as a nurse is not easy. I don't care what social media says. I don't care what anyone says, unless you're sitting on those front lines with me and seeing the fear, seeing the unknown, knowing that I'm putting my life on the line. I mean, I didn't join the military to go put my life on the line. My husband did that. And I forever am grateful for him. And I will never, ever put out on social media or to anyone, I don't want to be a martyr. None of us are martyrs, but we need to just realize health and wellness is not going away anytime soon. So freaking take care of ourselves. Sorry. Anyways, before I get too far with this, all I need you guys to know is your business may not look as great as you'd like it to every single day, but that just means there's more room for growth. That's what at the end of the day I've realized. Because the second that I feel comfortable with where my business is at is the second that I need to rethink this business. I will never be 100% comfortable with it because I need to keep growing. This morning I heard a podcast, and Julianne's gonna love this because it's a Kobe podcast. So Kobe, if you don't know his story, he got up at 4 a.m. every single day. He talked on this it was the Quote of the Day podcast this morning. And he talked about how he got up every single morning, he'd get home, he'd rest, and he'd do like 4 or 5 different practices throughout the day. He kept showing up and kept showing up and kept showing up, especially when no one was watching. Because here's the thing, by the time that he wasn't great, he was not good at all, but you don't have to be good at something. The more work and time you put into it, that means way more than how good you are coming into it, because you're working towards what you're going to be. And he worked and worked and worked and worked. And by the time that the great players got around to him, he was light years ahead. So here's what I have to tell you. That's just like when we decide to show up for ourselves. If we just show up now, knowing it makes more of a difference in the future than it does right now, that invite, that post, that conversation, that no, that ghost. Only part of it that matters right now is that you did it and you didn't give up. Because if you're doing it, whether it's great, whether it's not, you're learning, you're growing, you're blossoming into the person you've always meant to be. It just takes one step at a time to get there. You can't miss these steps. They are the foundation. They're the part of your story that people care to know about. Think about this. Think about those teams that go 10-0. Sure, you hear about them, and that's great. Do you remember them in 5 years, though? And how relatable is that? No one cares to watch a movie of here's the beginning and here's how I ended. Everyone wants to know what's in between. And here's the other thing. People want to watch the underdog grow. They want to join the underdog because the underdog is relatable. And the underdog is the person that perseveres and doesn't give up. I've realized in this, I'm not going through this for me. I'm going through my hard right now because someone else needs me to be stronger than I was yesterday. And I have had some of the hardest realizations of that in the last 2 weeks, because mind you, also my grandma passed away, and she's my first grandparent that passed away. And with COVID, we couldn't really be there. And that was some of the hardest times for me as well. Completely forgot about the rest of all the hardness that, thank you, Anya and Morgan, for reminding me of this 2 days ago. You will get through this. You have gotten through, as Kim Meyer said in her podcast that I listened to yesterday, you have gotten through 100% of your hard days already. You can get through your next hard day.
Can I get an amen? Holy smokes, Dani. That came from a place inside of you. Oh my goodness. I know it's 9:01. We'll finish just really quick. But that was absolutely incredible. And from like my 2 diamond coaches, can you just believe that the team is the way? Can you just believe that the team is the way? And P.S. Dani didn't even realize she had been through all of that until I mapped it out for her 2 days ago. She had no clue because she put her head down and she chose happy, and she still knew that despite whatever she was going through, success was not above her. That she could move an inch in a day or a quarter inch in a day, and she kept showing up through all of that. She said, I don't want to tell my story because I think that people will think I'm asking for pity. And I said, hell no, Dani, you need to tell that because, again, through that, how many coaches would have quit? And you built, like, you are inches from 2-star yourself. Through all of that, so many coaches would have pulled away and you leaned in. And I'm so proud of both of you. Thank you, Anya and Dani.